Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving headfirst into a pretty fascinating potential shift happening in Australia's car scene.
Oh, yeah.
You guys sent in some really interesting articles about Australia possibly hitting peak Ute.
Interesting phrase, right?
It is, and we're going to unpack exactly what that means and explore if SUVs are on the verge of dethroning the beloved Ute down under.
It'll be fun.
So let's get into it.
Let's go.
First things first, Utes are like deeply ingrained in Aussie culture, right?
Oh, absolutely. Mate, think about it. The vast outback, the rugged terrain, the trusty Ute has been a staple for generations.
Yeah.
Like it's practically part of the landscape.
I feel like when I think of Australia, I think of a Ute.
Right?
And you can't forget those iconic models, the Toyota HiLux, the Ford Ranger.
Oh, yeah. Those are practically synonymous with Australian life.
It's true. We are.
Workhorses.
Exactly. But then we have Sean Hanley, Toyota, Australia's VP.
Right.
Throwing this curveball, this prediction about peak Ute.
Yeah, like what's making him think?
Right.
What's going on?
Well, for starters, you just can't ignore the recent sales figures.
True.
The RAV4 hybrid and SUV has been climbing the charts.
It has.
And on top of that, you have this wave of new Utes hitting the market.
Oh, yeah.
The BYD Shark, the GWM Canon Alpha Hybrid.
The market is getting crowded.
So it's almost like the Ute market itself is splitting.
Yeah.
With these more specialized options popping up.
Yeah, and I think that could be pushing some buyers towards SUVs.
It makes sense.
For sure.
But on the other hand, SUVs already make up a big chunk of the Australian car market.
Huge. 60%.
60%.
Wow. Yeah.
But here's the thing. No single SUV model has ever actually topped the annual sales charts in Australia.
Yeah, that's what's wild about this whole thing.
So if that were to happen...
It would be a major turning point.
Huge.
For sure.
So what is it about SUVs that's attracting people?
Right.
Is it purely practical or is there something else?
Yeah, is it just utility?
Right.
Well, Toyota did some research on this.
Okay.
And they found that Ute owners in their 30s and 40s, many of whom are starting families, are increasingly switching to SUVs.
It's like the family car.
Yeah.
Makes sense when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. When you've got kids, all their stuff, those 7-seater SUVs like the Toyota Prado, the Ford Everest.
Those become really appealing.
Oh, yeah.
So as life changes, so do our car choices.
Exactly.
The Ute might be perfect for that independent, adventurous spirit.
Right.
But when you're juggling kids and soccer practice, the SUV just starts to make more sense.
It's practicality.
Yeah.
It's all about practicality.
And Hanley's point about a new era in the Australian automotive landscape is spot on.
Oh, for sure.
We've seen this kind of shift before, like the move away from Australian-made cars towards smaller, more fuel-efficient options.
Yeah.
And then that led to the dominance of Utes.
And now it seems like SUVs are ready to take the wheel.
It's like this constant evolution driven by changing needs and desires.
It is.
So what do you think the future holds?
Oh, that's the big question.
Any other trends on the horizon?
Well, one thing to keep an eye on is electric vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
They're still a small part of the market, but EVs are gaining traction globally, and Australia is no exception.
Definitely. And don't forget about those global supply chain issues. Those are always a factor and can definitely impact the availability and the price of different car models.
Absolutely.
So for everyone listening out there, we want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in the market for a new car today.
Okay.
What would be the deciding factors for you?
What would make you go Ute versus SUV or vice versa?
Exactly.
It's a tough choice.
It is.
And while you're thinking about that, pay attention to what you see on the roads around you.
Yeah.
How many SUVs are you spotting compared to Utes?
Good point.
You might be surprised at how quickly the landscape is changing.
It's a good point.
It's a fascinating time to be following the automotive world for sure.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's amazing how something like car choices can reflect those broader societal shifts and cultural trends.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Years up.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you later.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.